A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, hello.
Serious rock talk back on the dial, traveling at a speed of 33 1/3 RPMs, where the vinyl will bring you to your preferred destination. On with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Ferris Kennedy. In the studio with me, a man who claimed he wrote a book on what is the secret to life. None other than
Stephen Wheeler, and then forgot to publish it.
Yeah, he forgot to publish it, but here we are. Stephen Wheeler is back in the studio with me today. Today we're going to be talking about an artist and band, but the artist was the band to me. Someone that finally. Congratulations, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You finally got it right. The Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy Osbourne, is going to go in as a solo artist. Ozzy Osbourne has made a lasting impact on rock music and influenced countless artists. With his longevity, enormous impact, and iconic persona, Ozzy is a phenomenon like any other in rock music. Ozzy Osbourne is rock's beloved Prince of Darkness, a key architect of heavy metal, and one of the most successful solo artists of all time. Ozzy's voice is instantly recognizable, haunting, powerful, raw, sincere, and capable of conveying a wide array of emotions. As a live performer, he is a force of nature with onstage charisma and showmanship unlike any other. Ozzy brings theatrically to his electrifying performances, captivating audiences with his magnetic energy, and rightly earning the title Godfather of Heavy Metal. First rising to fame as the frontman of Black Sabbath, Ozzy delivered unforgettable rock classics, including Paranoid and Iron Man. His contributions were essential to the band's success, with his distinctive voice synonymous with their sound. After parting ways with Sabbath in '79, Ozzy formed the Blizzard of Ozz, notably featuring Randy Rhoads, now acknowledged as one of the greatest guitarists of all time, releasing albums that forever changed metal in the 1980s, including Blizzard of Ozz and Diary of a Madman. Ozzy became an international superstar, selling 70 million albums and filling 2,600 arenas in concerts around the world. As a solo artist, Ozzy has continually surrounded himself with incredible musicians and developed young talent, including guitar heroes like Rhoads, Jake E. Lee, and Zakk Wylde. In the 1990s, Ozzy and his wife manager, Sharon Osbourne, established Ozzfest, one of the most successful music festivals ever, and in 2000s, their family became stars on the hit MTV reality, The Osbournes. Now, while retired from touring, Ozzy remains musically active into his 70s, still releasing new albums and collaborating with artists including Eric Clapton, Elton John, Slash, Travis Scott, and Post Malone. Countless artists from many genres have credited Ozzy as a major influence, including Metallica, Lita Ford, Rage Against the Machine, and Busta Rhymes. With his longevity, impact, and iconic persona, Ozzy Osbourne is a phenomenon unlike any other. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Wheeler will lead you into Black Sabbath.
So, Black Sabbath, like many things in this world, did not appear out of nothing. It was a long and arduous journey, even to get to the first album. So what you have to know is Ozzy Osbourne and Geezer Butler have been friends for a long time. They actually were a band in 1968, and they finally met Bill Ward and Tony Iommi around that time, and they formed a band called A Rare Breed. And they actually met, all the four of them, thanks to an advertisement that Ozzy had posted on a billboard in a local music shop. And the message was, Ozzy Zig needs gig, as on PA. So these guys met up and they formed initially a group called the Polka Talk Blues Band, which, according to legend, was named after talcum powder and or an Indian and Pakistani clothing shop. They're not even sure themselves. We have to remember this is the late 60s. A lot of information was lost to certain substances. And this band was actually bigger than what Black Sabbath would eventually be because they had a guitarist named Jimmy Phillips, a childhood friend of Osbourne, and a saxophonist named Alan Archer Clark. No relation to Dr. Clark. And after a while, they started saying, oh, we're not the Polka Talk Blues Band, we're the Polka Talk. And then they changed the name to Earth, which instinctively Osbourne really, truly hated, because he has a rather good BS and shitty detector. But when they became Earth, they actually fired Phillips and Clark. And Iommi actually was the one who took the decision because he thought that they lacked the necessary dedication to make the band great. The group would go through a few more very bumpy rides to the point where in December 1968, Iommi abruptly left Earth to join Jethro Tull. But that didn't last either because Jethro Tull participated in something called the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus TV show. If you've never heard of this, I really implore you, go on the internet and try to find, if not a recording, just a basic cover for it, and you'll just be amazed that this was ever filmed, recorded. It's just late 60s complete insanity. But Iommi quickly found that the chemistry he had with Osbourne was something really unique. So in 69, the guys just reunited and started playing, and it just worked. It just meshed. And thankfully, Ozzy was able to get rid of the horrible name Earth for one really easy reason, was there was another band named Earth. So you have to remember, folks, before the internet, you could not necessarily know everything that's happening in the world at the same time. So you could have easily called yourself something and somebody else was already operating under that name. So Black Sabbath really is a product more of the early 70s, although they started in 69. It's more or less November 1969. They record their first single, Evil Woman, which is a cover of a song by the band Crow. And Evil Woman gets a little attention, but it's really when Black Sabbath starts recording their own stuff that it becomes just something else. That being said, it doesn't explode that early. They reach decent numbers, especially they get it to number 8 in the UK album charts. They do a release in US and Canada in the 70s. They reach number 23 on the Billboard. And in England, they're really admired. In North America, they're called discordant jams with bass and guitar reeling like speed freaks. So it goes to show it's not necessarily an easy journey, but when War Pigs comes out, oh man, like that's the point where everything explodes.
Generals gathered in their masses.
And you have to remember, we're in the Vietnam War, so this album just blasted people's mind open. And they just went on and on and on all through the early 70s. We get to Master of Reality, Volume 4.
Well, I like Volume 4. It's like this on the cover.
Yeah, exactly. No,
no one can see me, man.
He's up there with his fingers.
Yeah.
he looks like something out of a cult, kind of a priest guru kind of thing. And throughout the 70s, they just blow our minds. Unfortunately, though, Ozzy was blowing his mind, and pretty much a good part of his earnings on incredible amounts of drugs, to the point where even if the other guys were doing drugs, they were like, there's us and there's whatever Ozzy's doing. And by the late 70s, tensions were getting so high, much like the band members, that it just got to a point where Ozzy just alienated all the other members of the troupe. I think it got to a head in Toronto, of all places, Toronto, Ontario, where the guys at that point were doing so much dope. They were showing up to the sessions so stoned that things were not happening anymore. And so for the survival of the band, Ozzy was let go in a really horrible band meeting in Los Angeles, where basically they told him, "We love you, man, but seriously, get out."
So Wheeler has given you the where it started for Ozzy in Black Sabbath. Correct. Yep. He's just looking at me like. So now I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of a timeline here of who Ozzy Osbourne really is. And, well, he's John Michael Ozzy Osbourne, born December 3rd, 1948. An English musician and media personality. We don't need to say he's a media personality because to me, he is a musician. He's been establishing himself as a heavy metal Prince of Darkness early on as a vocalist for Black Sabbath, just like Wheels was talking about. And he also has an unkillable perseverance as he remained one of metal's most powerful voices for over 50 years and became an international multimedia superstar along the way. 1979, like Wheels says, he parted ways with Black Sabbath and quickly launched a solo career, stormed through the 80s with his landmark albums like 1980's Blizzard of Oz and 1981's Diary of a Madman. Known for impeccable showmanship and surrounding himself with guitarists like Randy Rhoads and Zakk Wylde, kept him in the charts and playing stadiums throughout the 90s. He had a little series of on MTV called The Osbournes. Also, he is known for his ongoing work ethic and commitment to Ozzfest and Black Sabbath reunions. Ozzy still keeps busy in his 70s with releasing 2 solo albums. 2020's Ordinary Man, which found him collaborating with Post Malone, Travis Scott, and Elton John, and its Grammy-winning 2022 follow-up album, Patient Number 9. Congratulations, Grammys. You finally got it right.
Wow, it only took, 50 years?
So in other words, stop giving awards to those that don't earn it, Beyonce, and give it to those that actually earned it through merit and worked hard. Hi, Ozzy. Welcome. So, like Will says, Ozzy did start his professional career in the late 60s, where he teamed up with Tony Iommi and Geezer Butler alongside with Bill Ward to form Black Sabbath. That's one of Wheel's favorite bands. So let's move on to after he left Black Sabbath. He basically went on his own, where his wife Sharon became his manager, and they formed his own band, The Blizzard of Oz, with guitarist Randy Rhoads, bassist Bob Daisley, and drummer Lee Kerslake.
Nice.
You remember those names, Wheels?
Well, I do, but I'm not sure if Ozzy at certain points in the 80s did.
So the group had a self-titled first album, which was released in 1980 in the UK and early 81 in the US, which was known as Blizzards of Oz, with shades of Black Sabbath and heavy guitar riffs. It reached number 7 on the UK charts, and it peaked at number 21 in the States. Kerslake and Daisley were replaced with Tommy Aldridge and Randy Sarzo shortly before the subsequent November release of Diary of a Madman. Okay, so they didn't last too long for the first round.
Yeah.
So this album, which included Flying High Again, charted at number 16 in the US and then became another huge seller. Osbourne has no trouble in attaining mass audiences, and his career seemed to have peaked. However, controversy soon erupted when he was accused of animal cruelty. During one performance, a bat was thrown on stage by a fan, and Osbourne bit its head off while supposedly thinking it was fake. The show was cancelled when he had to be rushed to the hospital for rabies vaccination. Not long afterwards, unfortunately, Randy Rhoads was killed in a bizarre plane accident, bringing the band's success to a screeching halt. Osbourne fell into a massive depression shortly after losing his best friend, and plans for his upcoming live album were soon changed. When Ozzy was able to break his contract with Jet Records, he signed to Epic in a very strange way. He showed up, guess what, Wheels? He showed up drunk at the Epic Records meeting with two doves, one of which he freed, and the other of which, unfortunately, had the same ending as a bat. So then, believe it or not, they signed him to the label.
Well, I mean, at that point, I'm guessing they see it as dedication. Jake
E. Lee became Osbourne's guitarist in 1984 for the studio album Bark at the Moon. 1986, Ultimate Sin received rather harsh criticism. This album, although containing the hit single Shot in the Dark, was regarded as Osbourne's worst studio effort by numerous critics, who claimed it was redundant and uninteresting nonetheless. The album was another smash hit, which was interesting as Ozzy's not a big fan of this album in 1987. Then he decided to release an album with Tribute, which is a live album recorded in 1981 that was dedicated to the memory of Randy Rhoads, and this one here was released in 1987. When No More Tears was released in 1991, it was confirmed that the following tour would be Osbourne's last before retirement, following a live double album called Live and Loud, was released in 1993 to commemorate Osbourne's career, and it is now assumed that the singer's glory days were over. However, thank the Lord, he resurfaced in 95 with Osmosis, which sold 3 million copies within a year after its release. I have it on vinyl and CD, and it is a great album. Ozzy created Ozzfest. As you guys know, this was formed in 1996. He also created tour packages in 1997, which included metal acts as Pantera, Marilyn Manson, and Black Sabbath Reunion, from which only Bill Ward was absent. In 2019, he collaborated with rapper Post Malone and Travis Scott on the song Take What You Want from Post Malone's Hollywood's Bleeding album. The song hit Billboard charts, making it Ozzy's first time back to the top 10 in over 3 decades. And then in February 2020, Osbourne returned with his first studio album in a decade called Ordinary Man, which is a great album. It features Elton John, Slash, Duff McKagan, Chad Smith, and Charlie Puth.
Goes to show that he's a guy who's really open-minded.
He's very open-minded. So, Wheels, I have here a list of Ozzy Osbourne's album ranked. And this was a list formed by Nick DeRiso from Ultimate Classic Rock.
Nice.
So I'm going to list the albums. There's 13 studio albums for Ozzy as a solo artist. And we're going to go from 13 to number 1, and you're going to see if you kind of agree or disagree.
Sure.
Number 13, Down to Earth, the 2001 release.
Yeah, it's not a bad album, but it's not up to Ozzy standards.
Okay. Undercover, coming in at number 12, which was a 2005 release.
Again, we're in that period where he's doing more generic stuff. So yeah.
Okay. Number 11 in 2010, Scream.
Again, deserved place in the ranking.
Okay. Kicking it off in the top 10, I feel this is ranked way too low. Osmosis, 1995.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. But I think it is one of those albums that got shat on way too much. But I think it's due to the time it came out. And people in the 90s were not receptive to it. But if you listen to it, what are we, 30 years on? We're getting close to it?
1995, 29.
29. Yeah. So, 29 years later, you just admire all the work that went into it. And it's really good.
All right. Number 9, Black Rain, the 2007 release.
It's good, but I would have interchanged. I would have put that a little more down on the list.
This one here I found was ranked a little too low. Ordinary Man, he put it at number 8. It's a 2020 release. I think I'd put this in his top 5.
Yeah, it's a good resurrection album. Let's call it that.
Again, Patient number 9, he has that at number 7, which was released in 2022. So I guess this man not really a big fan of his new stuff.
Well, he's either our age or he's really young. It's one of those two situations, I think.
All right. No Rest for the Wicked, 1988 release. Wheels?
I like it, but it's you could put it at number 8 or 9, and I wouldn't cry.
You wouldn't lose sleep on it.
No, I wouldn't lose sleep.
All right, top 5. Wheels, I think we might agree on. You and I will agree, but not with him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got Bark at the Moon, number 5.
Yeah, it should be higher.
All right. Ultimate Sin at number 4. I would probably swap that.
Yeah, me too.
All right. No More Tears, 1991.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah. Ranked okay? 3?
Yeah, 3.
3? Okay. Number 2, Diary of a Madman.
Yeah.
Okay. And we'll look at that. Wow. He got it right. Ladies and gentlemen, he got it right. Blizzard of Oz, number 1. Wow.
Incredible.
Congratulations. So we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that got it right. We got the Grammys that got it right. And now we have Ultimate Classic Rock that got it right. I'm just teasing Nick. It's a good list. He put a lot of work into it. But at the end of the day, yes, it is a fantastic album. All right.
Although when you think about it, a lot of the lists we've read over the years, like they have it so wrong, whereas this guy actually knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking about. And if Dr. Clark was here right now, you know how much he loves lists. he always dumps on them. But he'd probably have fun with this one. So now it says your best song on every Ozzy Osbourne album, and this is done by Martin Keelty of Ultimate Classic Rock. He's got, I don't think there's no particular order in this. He's just naming songs that are awesome on the list. So we got Blizzard of Oz, the album. We have Crazy Train.
Yep.
Solid song.
Solid.
Diary of a Madman, we got Flying High Again.
Yeah.
Okay. Self-titled Bark at the Moon. Bark at the Moon.
Bark at the Moon, yeah.
In French, c'est Jappe à la Lune.
Arf.
Arf. Ultimate Sin, Shot in the Dark. Well, we saw that one coming.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Okay. No Rest for the Wicked. He got Miracle Man.
Yeah.
Okay. No More Tears, self-titled No More Tears.
Tears, yeah.
Yeah. Osmosis. Interesting. He went with See You on the Other Side.
It's an interesting choice. I think he's right in that it's not something you would expect from Ozzy, and he still makes it great.
I would have put Perry Mason.
I think Perry Mason is the more obvious choice, yeah.
Down to Earth, he put Junkie.
Yeah.
Undercover, he put Rocky Mountain Way.
Another easy choice, I'd say.
Black Rain, I have this album. I bought it. It's a double LP. I did not listen to it. I'm not familiar with it. He got Not Going Anyway. Wheels, are you familiar with this album?
Not Going Away? Yeah. I've unfortunately only listened to it on streaming services, and so I don't think I have the full power of it, whereas you have the record at home.
Well, I'll lend it to you. Don't scratch it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm gonna wait to have a worthy turntable for the Prince of Darkness.
Sounds good. Scream, the album that was in 2010, he put Let Me Hear You Scream.
Yeah.
All right. And Ordinary Man, he put Straight to Hell. Now, this is a good choice. I like this album. I'm okay with this one. But this collaboration, the Elton John one, was a good song.
It was. But I think it's this is written as a metal fan, and I think metal fans have certain issues. Like, I think they admire the fact that Ozzy is very open-minded, but I think they might have something against Elton John.
No, this one here I'm okay with because I'll tell you why. Chad Smith plays the drum and Duff McKagan plays the bass, and Slash is in there too. So I'm okay with it. Yeah. And hey, he got it right.
Again.
And then patient number 9, he's got Degradation Rules, which is also, again, a good choice because this is with Tony Iommi in collaborating this song. So, before we finish the show, Wheels, I got something here that's going to make you so happy. We're going to talk about Randy Rhoads.
Nice.
We're going to end it off because Randy Rhoads is a huge part of Blizzard of Oz. The top 10 Randy Rhoads guitar solos. This is what we're titling it, but just a little bit of history, some facts about Randy Rhoads. Randy Rhoads is the most groundbreaking guitarist the rock world has ever known. His mother was a music teacher, and Young received a proper musical education. Rhoads formed Quiet Riot when he was 16 years old, releasing 2 albums with the band in Japan. His musical legacy derives primarily from 2 landmark albums he made with the Ozzy Osbourne. Freed from the musical constraints of Quiet Riot, Rhodes helped Ozzy create a new style of heavy metal that drew much of its inspiration from his interest in classical guitar. Rhodes' groundbreaking fusion of classical rock and musical began with Blizzard of Ozz and advanced even further on Diary of a Madman. In that period of 2 short years, he created a legacy that revolutionized heavy rock forever. And unfortunately, tragically, Randy Rhodes passed away in a plane crash on March 19, 1982, while on tour with Ozzy Osbourne. He died far too young.
That is unfortunately too true.
Too true. So, to honor Randy Rhodes, we have a list of his best guitar solos, and I'm going to read them off, and Wheels will enjoy the commenting, saying yay or nay. Believer from Diary of a Madman.
Oh, yeah.
I Don't Know from Blizzard of Ozz.
I think I'm going to say yeah to most of these.
Laughing Gas from the Randy Rhodes years.
It's another nice one.
Over the Mountain from Diary of a Madman.
Oh, yeah.
This one here I like. It's actually a short song. I think it's like only a minute. It's D from Blizzard of Ozz.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is extraordinarily short.
Yeah. Self-titled Diary of a Madman.
Yep.
Mr. Crowley from Blizzard of Ozz.
Insane one, yeah.
Revelation Mother Earth. Flying High Again from Diary of a Madman. And then Crazy Train from Blizzard of Ozz. And they say Crazy Train may well be one of the unlikeliest signature songs of any performer. Basically a song about losing your marbles. It's become a cultural touchstone well beyond the metal community. Rhodes' solo only amps the intensity, threatening to derail the Crazy Train with its blend of furious fast runs, detuned whammy bar licks, and staccato phrases. Ladies and gentlemen,
the man was a machine.
He was a machine, a legend. He was Randy Rhodes. And the man that we spoke about through this podcast is the man, the myth, the legend. The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, better known as John Michael Osbourne. We hope that you enjoyed this little tidbit of Ozzy Osbourne information we were able to provide to you. And
now go listen to him.
Go listen to it and email us at seriousrocktalk@yahoo.com. Check out the website, seriousrocktalk.com. Follow us on every social media platform possible. Just Google Serious Rock Talk and you'll see the three of us there. And for now, signing off with me to the right of me,
Stephen Wheeler.
And I'm Ferris Kennedy. Thank you for listening and tune in next time.
See you soon.
Au revoir.